speaking of the last life and future lives, and that you have another very unusual occupation, another business that you own. Could you tell us a little bit about your other business?
It's the funeral business. I'm working together with Mr. Gregory Atkins, one of the, I would say, amazing and fantastic, embalmer. He does he does amazing job, and funeral director. We work together in many services. I've seen a lot of trauma, deceased who came in, and he brings them like they're back in life.
Oh, just the trauma that they have suffered through dying, and then
all the stuff, and his work is amazing. He's blessed to do what he does, I think.
Now, what exactly does an embalmer do? This is, pardon my naivety here, but I think most people are very scared of death, and they don't speak about death. And that's part of the reason why I wanted you on the show, to be able to open it up and find out what it is that an embalmer does. We've all seen 6 Feet Under, and I'm sure
yeah, exactly.
You said that you get a lot of people, friends, give you the tapes.
DVDs and stuff. What they do is they prepare the bodies, for the service. They take, I can't go through, all the details and stuff, but in general, they take the blood out, they do restoration work. They fix them up, hair, manicure, pedicure, we dress them up, make them look, perfectly, before the family comes and view them. It's a whole procedure behind it. But basically, he's embalming with formaldehyde to preserve the body from
the
decomposing.
Decomposition.
Yeah.
And it also plumps up the body and makes it more lifelike, because usually when people pass away...
Restoration will do that, yeah.
And so it's a talent to be able to do that, to make a loved one look very presentable for a funeral, so you don't necessarily shock the family members.
Of course, yeah.
And is it a dramatic difference that you see between someone when they get there and after he finishes?
Oh, amazing work. A day and night.
So, of course, the logical first question for me and most people watching are, how did you get into this? What made you want to get into this business?
Well, that was another of my passions, as I said. As a child, I always have the curiosity.
Okay.
And the fear. But the curiosity was more than the fear. I thought funerals, procession and stuff is the most elegant, the most respectful thing I ever seen in my life. I've been to many weddings, I've been to many baptisms and stuff. It wasn't really impressing me as much as I would see a funeral. The depart or the farewell, for me was so impressed. I was so fascinated by it. And I want to follow my feelings to see if I can do something for the people behind, who stay behind, because that's the ones who are facing all the sadness. The person who departs from this life, he's in a better hands. The person who stays behind is the ones who are suffering from sorrow and sadness, And I was always thought, trying to do the best I can to make them feel good. And that's where everything started from there.
So you had a knack to be able to help people through this very difficult time in their life.
Yes.
And you wanted to share that with
the families and stuff, yeah.
That's wonderful.
And every service I've done, every friend, I became friends with them. I can call them up, or I've seen them at the Greek festivals, or I've seen them at the church, and will approach them and talk to them. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel good to see them happier, or I bring that bitterness in their face, to bring a smile in their face. It's very important.
Now, you say, we spoke a little bit about this before, and you were telling me how families, there's things that you hear over and over again that families say that they wish they would have, or it's important for them to know that the little arguments that you have with someone, with a loved one, it's so important to be able to settle those and get them out of the way, because when they're gone, they're gone.
They're gone, exactly. You can see it in services. That's why I can see sometimes when they have or an argument, or their friendship fall apart and stuff. It's very sad, because when somebody departs from this life, it's too late to come and say, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that, or whatever happened between us, everything is okay. And when you see the person, suddenly it's a death, and you see that person in a casket, and you go, they're more devastated on it. And I can tell, that something between these two, something wasn't going well in their real life when the person was alive.
And now you've been doing this for how many years?
About 4 years now.
About 4 years. Do you think that when you see someone really break down and say they're sorry and they wish they would have said that, and you know, that they wish they could have told them when they're alive, do you think that that spirit senses?
Yeah, I think the spirit for me never dies, and I believe that. The cell stays behind. The spirit never dies. That's why always what we do with respect. It's about his mother or father or an uncle or a brother, whoever it is, you know. And I tell the families too, it's the cell. And if you want to ask him, I'm sorry, when to say I was telling the other question you asked me before, if you want to tell him like, I'm sorry, you can still say I'm sorry. You know, when you go see, just pray for them and say, I'm sorry, you know, I should have known that. He will hear you and stuff. Spirit never dies.
Yeah. Now, you got into this business also partially because of the death of your uncle?
I lost my uncle, 45 years old. He was a healthy man and stuff. And I lost him out of the blue, very sudden. And I wasn't happy with his service. You know, I went to the service and stuff, and I wasn't very happy. And I say to myself, after I have all this, you know, inside of me, this excited to experience it one time, I will go and do the best I can to make the families better than they've done for my aunt that time, and make them look better and make them feel better, which is the most important thing. And I followed from there. Actually, my uncle's service was the one that pushed me to this side of the road.
I see.
In the funeral business.
And you were also stressing to me that funerals change families. There's distinct changes that you can see in a family after someone that is important to so many people passes away. How does it change people?
It changes people. Actually, it's sad. It's sad when a funeral happens. It reunites people. It brings people together. Because when we have somebody who passing away, you know, it's like a gathering. Everybody comes up. If they have any difference, they forget them. They just see, you know, the family. They realize, oh, it's part of my blood. It's part of my family. And I've seen them so many times that they hug each other and love each other, which is very important. But sometimes it's not good to have a funeral to be like this. It's good to be, you know, every day like this. That's the way I see it.
So that is what we're calling out to tell people, is that do it now. Don't wait until somebody passes away.
Exactly.
Don't wait for a marriage, for a funeral, or any huge event. You don't need that in order to really, you know, build bridges and let things off your shoulder, because no argument or disagreement is really worth not being able to.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it changed me as a person too. I used to be mad with people. I used not to talk to them and stuff. But it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Nothing stays behind if you think about it.
That's true. And the thing you told me, which I loved, was no matter how many cars, how many houses, how much money,
wealth,
and you say that you all end up leaving
in the same bag. You can be the most powerful man. You can be the most wealthy man, the most famous man. And at the more when somebody will go to do the removal and stuff, it can be next to you somebody unimportant, let's say, will be in the same bag next to you. In this white bag, that you realize as, wow, look at this, we end up, all the things we do, everything we build up, we end up on this bag.
That's it.
You stop for a moment and you think. It's very tragic, it's very shocking to think that way.
That is. Adam, thank you so much for
welcome.
Being with us. Why don't you tell our audience how they can get a hold of you? Once again, the name of the funeral home that you have and the service.
The funeral home is in Oakland. It's Whitty Williams Funeral Home with Mr. Gregory Atkins.
Okay.
It's on 5500 Foothill Boulevard.
Okay.
And they can call, they can look online, or they can call the 725-3001. That's my local office.
725-3001.
415 local number.
Excellent.
Or the other, the Happy Side, the cafe.
Or you can come for some really wonderful bread pudding. I recommend the bread pudding.
Yeah, they can come in at the cafe and say, well, we saw you over there, buy them the coffee.
And that is XO Cafe, 30th and Church Street in the wonderful Noe Valley area. My name is Christina Marie Flores, and thank you for joining Christina Marie TV. Check us out on the internet. And again, thank you, Adam Bousiakis.
Correct.
And we'll see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Marie. Thanks so much.